Hi, good morning, good afternoon I suppose as well. And today we've got a special guest, as we do every week or try to. Last time it was Fabian, who somehow wiggled himself in as the co-host, so we'll see how that goes. But for today we have a fellow colleague of ours, or a fellow cohort student, and he'll introduce himself now.
Yeah. Hi. So for those of all who don't know me, my name is Shubh. I come from a lovely place called India. And apart from flexing my spice tolerant, I have been in my family business for now 7 years, and my family has been dealing steel since 50 years now. And we were in the markets like post-independence since 50s, because I come from a family of a generational entrepreneurs. So yeah, let's see where it goes.
Wow.
To be honest, I'm really nervous about this. This is my first podcast.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but I'm with these two amazing
Brilliant.
people.
Well, don't worry, I don't buy Fabian might, but we'll see how it goes.
So, how did you get how did you choose to be an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
interesting
of course,
question.
It's in your family, right?
Yeah, actually, it's in my genes, so I didn't really have to choose anything. So yeah, I mean, I would rather prefer to work on my small kingdom rather than work under someone and their big empire.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's kind of my mentality. So
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Interesting. So yes, if you haven't seen the description already, and the title of this is obviously all about entrepreneurship, and that was a little introduction. So based on that, we have a few questions, I suppose, or something to get it started. And I suppose, markets are really interesting right now, where you go weeks of up, weeks down. So last week we got almost 3% down on everything. Interest rates hiking. I'm not quite sure about the state in India, or I suppose the monetary policy there.
Mm-hmm.
But what particularly about market positions provide a good environment for entrepreneurs? Do you think a good environment, like a thriving economy, is good, or do you think actually one on decline is quite good? Because then I suppose vultures or VCs always looking for that new uptake.
This is a very good question. I mean, are the markets good enough to be an entrepreneur? It's like, okay, I'll ask you this. I had a talk with Fabian. I mean, he's in the real estate sector and he has started his own company. I just wanted to ask him, were the markets good when you started that?
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
This is the point, right?
Yeah.
Markets are never good.
Yeah.
Sentiments are never positive. But the real entrepreneur is whom? He takes the risk.
Yeah.
It's on your risk appetite. It's never the market, it's the product. How the product fits your market.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Okay.
The product is good or bad. Market is never good, never bad. Market is always bad.
Interesting.
No, I can actually relate to this. I mean, it doesn't matter where the market is. If you got a new product and you're really enthusiastic about it, you want to make it work anyways, unrelated to the market conditions. And I mean, there are favorable market conditions, all right? If you like low interest rate stuff, you can get that really easily. But I mean, the market conditions are how they are. You have to deal with them.
Yeah, and I have a pretty good example of this. A guy, I was watching a Shark Tank episode, and yeah, like any other entrepreneur, come on.
Of course. The dream. I want to be there.
Exactly. So I was watching. He had pretty much nothing to lose. He didn't have a job. He was from a middle class family, okay-ish to do. Then he just thought, my mom's a great cook. What should I do? He started a tiffin service.
Oh.
And that tiffin service is now converted after the lockdown into a cloud kitchen, and it's worth millions.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So
That's
you
amazing.
see, bad market is equal to good opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
exactly.
So you're saying basically there's good and bads, and it essentially doesn't matter. Because from my point of view, obviously I'm thinking, yes, there's a lot of VCs looking for something uptake to help, when the market gets better. And there's a lot of, vultures looking to offer that low interest rate loans in bad markets. But then you've also got, in good markets, it's really easy to find, cash flows and able to then raise equity.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm thinking, surely it's a good market, but you're saying, both pretty, solidly both saying and conforming that actually there's a lot of good and bad and it doesn't quite matter. It's more the individual behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, this isn't really an issue for you, but considering that we are at a top university globally, and there are probably some people who want to start their own business, start as an entrepreneur. How did your parents react to the decision?
Oh, so first of all, my parents were very supportive. So I'll just give you small brief about my family history. my grandfather started dealing in jute bags,
Yeah.
and he was the first to bring it in our state after
Yes.
the independence in 50s.
Yeah.
So it was just to carry the onions for the transportation purposes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then my father started his own steel thing.
Okay.
Then we were kind of into retailing. Then me and my brothers now have now stepped into the manufacturing world, and he is pretty supportive of it. So having a supportive family, having a supportive partner, everything, having a supportive, spouse, girlfriend, anything.
Of course.
It's very important for your mentality to be in that space.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's interesting. So it's not only yours. You need everyone around you. I suppose you get mental fatigue otherwise. That's one thing I found.
Yeah.
I do a lot of individual, entrepreneurial like stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say I've set up a business. I've been setting up several other routes within existing business, but that's not quite the same as what you guys are doing, which is very impressive. See, I had a little interruption there. Nothing's perfect, obviously. So I think one thing we obviously alluded to earlier was we're at a world-renowned university, and you can type this up online, so there's no secret, but we pay a lot to be here.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a lot of benefactors most of the time behind that, and I suppose obviously that's an investment. Like any investment, you get a return. What do you, as your position as an entrepreneur almost, what are you getting out of it? Because it seems to me MSc Finance isn't the MSc Entrepreneurship course that we also have to offer at UCL, there is to offer at UCL. So it's just a bit surprising to me to find so many entrepreneurs on our course.
That's true. Why did you do your masters anyways? If you already have your own company, right?
Yeah. So this is like I get this all the time, and it's like, why didn't you do management or entrepreneurship? Why finance?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, first of all, this course is very, very quantitative. Okay?
That's true.
Like a best mate of mine, Akash, he told me, he showed me a video of one of the most smartest hackers, and he told, like, if you learn different things, if your brain is able to process that new different things, it makes your learning curve easier, and the next time you learn something different, it gets easier. So I just wanted to challenge myself. It's like, I may be not the smartest in the cohort, but I surely know what I'm doing. So I am able to grasp the concepts. Initially, first 2-3 months were like a hell for me, because I didn't know what stochastic calculus is, and I was pretty new to it.
Yeah.
And you guys are always studying around in the campus. I see you guys. And I was not like that. I studied just before the exam. I passed. I know not the good grades. Not.
A pass is
But-
respectable for a
Yeah,
master's,
of
no
course.
matter what. I think a lot of us put it down to if you don't have distinction, it's not good enough. But I think that's a bit harsh
Yeah,
at this point.
course,
To do a master's in this course, you already have to have strong underlying skills, and
Yeah, that's
then
true.
your passing shows you definitely have it.
And I mean, your peer group is so exceptionally strong, especially
Yeah.
here. And so I
And
think.
our exams were interesting this
Yeah,
year.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
they were interesting.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. Yeah.
So
So,
I-
that's pretty much it. I just wanted to explore like new things. I wanted to learn different things, and like time series. Professor Salim, Rafaela, they are excellent teachers.
Yes.
And MSc Finance is like very renowned, and it's known for its quantitativeness. If I can somehow relate this to my business, if I can regressions, I can run this with keeping all the other factors. Preferably constant or not, but it's useful. It's really useful.
Yeah. Considering that you're obviously you're from India, right? And you're studying in a foreign country. Here in London there are a lot of cultures, a lot of different people. Regarding to your business, how do you deal with intercultural content? If you deal with Chinese people, if you import your your raw materials from China, how do you deal with that? What's different to the things you know from India?
Okay, so in India, the business is solely based on the trust. It's
I
like,
see.
you have given me word, I'll do it. You can blindly trust the people,
The good old handshake.
yeah, because
Yeah.
because in your own country, if he cheats, you can deal with him. From legally anything.
Yeah.
But before dealing with some people from different countries, you need to be very, very sure, are this trusted ones, are this legit,
Yeah.
and you have to be very, very careful about speaking, you don't offend them, and
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
it's different, but it's amazing at the same time.
Yeah, an interesting thing to that is actually a bit of a side tangent, but I find it very interesting, and it might be interesting for you guys to know, and anyone in the future. But verbal confirmation is actually legally bounding as long as it's
Yeah,
not
it
to
is,
do
it
with
is.
estates.
Yes.
True.
Which obviously for you is quite important because your entrepreneurship is within
Yeah, of
estate
course,
possibly. But yeah, it's a very fascinating thing, and obviously, you know, there's always been that. I think it's very interesting to hear a lot of that's definitely still thriving, you know, almost at the foundation base that you said in India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think one thing I want to ask, because I know it'd be interesting because you've got two dynamics of somebody who's starting it almost from scratch, possibly, but with
Yeah,
assistance
nearly,
maybe,
Yeah.
and then somebody who's definitely had a nice base to then grow. What would you say to somebody who, because we have a lot of people I know who want to start brand new, what would you say, something that you, for obviously from a bit higher perspective, would suggest or tell them? Somebody who's starting obviously a bit new, doesn't have that foundation, would you say the money's important, the education's important, the drive or the idea?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, so your product should fit the market. Second of all, is it scalable? Are you able to
really
scale it
important, yeah.
up? If you're just working in that area,
Yeah.
I mean, you can be king of like a village, but nobody cares.
Yeah.
You want to run an empire, not a street corner shop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there has to be definitely that mentality. Also, you have to look at this two C's. You know, first is capital.
Capital, yes.
So the sector I am, it's very capital intensive. So I really need to have a strategy, like how should I deploy this capital? How should I? So if you have right strategy, like any other business, it can thrive. Or if it doesn't, like another, it can fail. Second thing is competition. Like if I at the age of 22, like as an entrepreneur, I am able to think of this. Like there must be some people who might be thinking good than me. They must be smarter than me. They would have more experience. They must be thinking same as me. So there would be a fierce competition. This is the second C. If you have a monopoly, if you have a great product, you have great strategy.
But do you
Market
really
doesn't
think capital is that important? I mean,
yeah.
there obviously has to be a market, right? That's for sure. You have to have a product which is scalable, as you already mentioned.
Yeah.
But I think the capital is not as important as the idea and the market itself, because also you mentioned education before. You can learn everything.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. You can learn everything, and if you have the drive and the passion for your product, for your business, I think it doesn't matter how much knowledge you already have. I think you can learn everything. But even if you start from scratch, like with no money in the bank, there are still possibilities to get money. It will take you longer, for sure. It will take you longer. But I don't think money should be a decidable factor whether you should pursue your entrepreneurial activity or not.
I would argue it's very sector dependent.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say exactly what Shubh said earlier. You know, his sector of industrialism. It's very heavy. And I guess then there's also with that you said you might take time to raise it. If the guide is good enough, I believe that. The issue is time span, whether it actually your idea would last long enough before somebody picks it up or it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And obviously, if it's irrelevant, then maybe thank God you didn't start it. But if it isn't and the lifespan's almost died off, and because capital usually you take loans, or maybe that's a very simple form.
Yeah,
correct.
They normally have a lifespan, and if you take that long, your lifespan at the end, you have very limited time then to actually get a return to then cover the interest of the margins that you're obviously cooping up. So I would actually say it's probably a bit more sector dependent. I would say technology is very low. I would say you talk about tech, which is everywhere.
Right.
That's so low. I've been doing a bit of that with a few websites we've been making for a company. But I would argue actually that's almost nothing. You have a laptop, you can go.
Right.
But for something I'm sure you're about to take off from me anyway, tell me I'm probably partially right and probably wrong, I'd say it's entirely capital dependent, and it's only possible thanks to the connections. Obviously that doesn't downgrade any of the fantastic ideas, it's just purely the accessibility to that market.
Yeah, but I still think it depends on whether you start a startup which has an innovative idea which hasn't been seen before, or if you start in an existing industry. I mean, if you're in an existing industry, you have to have capital, for sure. But if you have a startup with an innovative idea, there are so many VCs out there who would provide you with any money. Yeah. So I think it really depends.
Just a fresh startup. I mean, I just want to add this. You need to have a short-term capital. So I'll tell you my example. Before running a full-fledged industry, before just buying the machines, buying the raw materials, and
Yeah.
producing. I had to test the market. Is it working?
Yeah. That's
Then how can I test the market if I'm not able to produce it?
Yeah.
I took a factory on lease of someone else.
Yeah.
That he was producing his material during the day.
Wow.
I gave him money like you produce at night. Then I tested my market.
Yeah.
Then my
That's
product
really
had the
smart,
demand.
actually.
Then I went full fledged. Then I went to the bank. Then I asked for the loans or capital
Wow.
that I had maybe. Then I did it. So it's very important to know when to dive in.
Yeah.
You surely need to know your product and you surely need to know the market. You have to test for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, that's actually probably a brilliant place to start because that summed up, I guess, everything so far really
Yeah.
well. So we're probably going to stop there, given we've gone over a little. But
Yeah, a little too
given how flexible we are and how easy, I'm
Of
sure this
course.
won't be the first or last time. So yeah, that's been brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been
Thank
great.
you.
And
It's my pleasure.
with that, I think we'll
We cut it off.
go out and hopefully we have a next speaker on soon.
See you in the next episode.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.